You've heard it said that I came down from New Hampshire because I wanted to join with you. Who would miss the opportunity to be present at the commencement of the Second American Revolution? That's worth getting up before dawn. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it said that Washington is broken. It's not broken. When you say something's broken, you imply that it can be fixed. That if you just fix the microphone, you've heard it said that Washington is broken. That implies if you just fix a part or replace a part, the mechanism will work again. That is not the case, I'm sorry to say. Washington is diseased. This city is sick. The problem is systemic. It's going to require a systemic remedy, a systemic prescription, a systemic Second American Revolution to cleanse this city and make it a healthy place again for freedom and for the American people and their future. So I wanted to come down today, and I don't often appear as a former U.S. Senator. I don't tell people about that generally. It can get you in trouble nowadays. But I wanted to say, as a former United States Senator, a person who served his state for 12 years up there on Capitol Hill, during all 8 of Ronald Reagan's years, may I say, with great pleasure, that you are absolutely right in your concerns. You're absolutely right to be angry, righteously angry about what's going on in that building over there, what's going on up on Capitol Hill, what's going on over here in the whorehouses of K Street, where so many former members of Congress now dwell, and even what's going on in the Supreme Court building. You are right to be concerned because, and you're right to be here today, because our government has grown so powerful, so arrogant, so insolent, so contemptuous of the people that we are on the doorstep of tyranny. That is not an overstatement. By standing here today, you stand with the heroes of 1775, all of us. Even before the Declaration of Independence, they stood for their rights, they stood against bullying, they stood against tyranny, they stood against abuse of power, and that is why we are here today taking a stand. Through their bravery and defiance, they overcame the tyrant and secured freedom for themselves and their prosperity at a very high cost, in blood and in treasure. Today, in this city, the lights of freedom are going out, one by one, and on an accelerating pace. And all across this land, this broad land, moves this dark shadow of tyranny, overshadowing every community and every home, blotting out the sun of freedom, blotting out the sun of hope and opportunity and prosperity and of happiness. And this cannot stand. We will not permit it to stand. It is our goal to roll back the tyranny, this incipient tyranny, and to reestablish freedom once and for all, and for all generations to come. This president has presided over the creation and the massive enlargement of an agency that has more power to spy upon innocent citizens than the KGB of the Soviet Union and the Gestapo of Nazi Germany combined. Those evil agencies never dreamed of the power that the NSA has today, and that power is being used daily. You can be sure that your faces and our voices are being recorded, and not out of curiosity. And you can be sure that every phone call you make is being recorded as to phone number and and time of day and duration. And your email is being cataloged and warehoused, no matter what the content may be. Government is now spying on us 24 hours a day and every night. The NSA is electronically ransacking every home in America, seizing property, records, effects, without a constitutional warrant and without a suspicion of wrongdoing on the part of citizens. This is a massive violation of the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, which guarantees citizens privacy against that very kind of evil government activity. This is further a violation of the First Amendment, for who among us is not just a little bit more careful in what he commits in an email nowadays or says publicly? It's a violation of the Fourth Amendment, it's a violation of the First Amendment, and the head of that agency should be fired forthwith. We need accountability. We demand accountability. And not only the head of that agency, but his principal assistants need to be fired. And it's only a pity, pardon me, it's only a pity we can't fire Dianne Feinstein, who is supposed to be overseeing this monstrosity. It's a pity we can't fire the members of the Intelligence Committee who let this travesty take place under their very noses and now profess surprise. Congress is supposed to oversee the monstrosities that it creates, and it fails miserably to do that because it has created more than it can oversee. But at the very least, it ought to oversee the most dangerous of those agencies. And likewise, the IRS has been turned into a tool to harass those with whom the government disagrees, and to deprive those persons who make up those groups of meaningful participation in the electoral process. And the head of that agency should be fired as well, along with Lois Lerner, who was allowed instead to retire on full pension. We want accountability, Mr. President. We want accountability, members of Congress. And by God, sooner or later we're going to get it. We do not like lying. The president is either pathologically incapable of managing his own creation. He's either pathologically incapable of managing his own creation, or he's pathologically incapable of telling the truth. Or both. Or both. At this point, I vote for both. Truly, the president would do us a great favor to resign the office and leave it to the vice president, who could surely do a much better job. Ladies and gentlemen, in the end, it isn't Barack Obama. In the end, it is the age-old dynamic of the corrupting influence of power. Power corrupts. It always has corrupted. It is corrupting today all around us in this most corrupted city. The corruption is spreading across the land, and it will corrupt tomorrow. The Constitution was supposed to contain the evil side of human nature. But unfortunately, because the Supreme Court, like a kennel full of toothless old dogs sleeping through the night, has allowed the executive branch and the Congress continually to deconstruct the Constitution. So for all of these reasons, and so many more that we haven't time to express on this occasion, we all join together in a second American Revolution, and this time we will strengthen the Constitution with things such as term limits that will make it impossible for anyone to build a career out of serving in the Congress of the United States, and then to go over and sell the skills they acquired at the expense of the taxpayer for millions of dollars a year on K Street, just 2 blocks away. We truly need a second American Revolution, and I support Larry Klayman and thank him sincerely for commencing this historic event, and wish him and us and America all the very best. Thank you. God bless you.
Great